Now, let me just kind of educate you a little bit on what a varicocele is. And I brought some pictures along with me to show you, to share with you. So this is a picture of what a varicocele looks like, varicocele. And what I want you to notice is that on the left side, this is kind of like the testicles with the skin stripped away. On the left side, you'll see just normal blood vessels. On the right side, you'll see all of this blue that almost looks like a bag of worms, right? And what's happening here are these are dilated veins that actually are stealing blood flow away from where they need to go. So sometimes what we have is we have issues with fertility, low sperm count. We have some issues sometimes with pain. And then oftentimes we even have issues with shrinkage because what's happening is you're not getting the right amount of blood flow to the testicle, and that testicle can actually do what we call atrophy and kind of shrink and fall off. Now this too is a picture. This is kind of a sideways cutout of how you see on the right, the area where you have all of these lumpy blue areas, right? So there's a couple different ways to think about a varicocele. One is it causing you pain and discomfort? If it's causing you pain and discomfort, one of the best things to use when it's uncomfortable for you is ice. You know, because I want you to think of varicocele as kind of like varicose veins. And so what we find with varicose veins and varicoceles, one of the things that helps is pressure actually helps, like, you know, because they get hot and throbbing and they can be painful in some people. So ice can actually help. Cold compresses can actually help. But the other thing is, you know, you actually want a little bit of testicular support. So jock straps help because they're actually taking some of the tension off. So they're not hanging down, they're kind of supported and kind of healthy and happy. Here in our country, the big way that people want to deal with varicoceles are either through embolization, so basically cutting off the blood supply there. Some doctors will advocate using laser to remove them, and other ones advocate for surgery. Now, I'll say that in some other countries, though, and particularly in Germany, you know, when Germany, you know, I talk about Germany a lot because Germany really spends a lot of time, you know, really embracing some of the more natural remedies, some of the things that are actually from the earth and plant-based and things like that. So when you're thinking about varicoceles, and this is any varicosities, this could be varicose veins, this could be venous insufficiency, which we've talked about several times, where the veins are stealing the blood flow to your erections so that you don't actually keep an erection for very long. One of the big things that they use in other countries is something called horse chestnut. Now, I have a picture of what horse chestnuts look like, but if you Google it, it's available on Amazon. It's available pretty much everywhere. And it comes as powders, it can come as capsules, it can come in a variety of different ways. So the thing about horse chestnut is a horse chestnut has been used, they've injected it, some people take it as a tea, some people swallow it. And what horse chestnut is not only does it have an antioxidant property, but in the 1960s, they started studying it for varicose veins in the legs. And it became really popular in Germany when they started to realize that you could use it to help rehabilitate veins. So what I want you to do is when you're speaking to your doctor about your varicocele and what can be done, ask your doctor what they feel about and how they feel about you using horse chestnut. They have used horse chestnut to study hemorrhoids. They've used them to study varicoceles. In Japan, they actually make horse chestnut into an injectable form that they use to reduce inflammation after surgeries and different injuries. But there's an active component of it called ASIN, AESCIN. And what it appears to do is kind of reduce the swelling and inflammation in certain areas. And some of the theories as to how this happens is there's a theory that maybe they're sealing up these leaky veins and leaky capillaries. Some hypothesize that it's you know, kind of improving the elasticity of the veins, and because veins have valves, so some theories are that it's helping repair the valves. And then the other theory is that it's helping prevent the release of certain enzymes or chemicals that are present. So, with that being the case, there's enough data out there and enough clinical data out there in particular to recommend that anyone who has venous insufficiencies, whether they're varicose veins, whether they're varicoceles, that they would consider using horse chestnut, and to do your own research, of course, and I will drop some resources below so that you can see if something like this would be right for you. Another thing that you want to do is make sure that you're, you know, trying to minimize caffeine. Caffeine can interfere and worsen things like that. You know, you want to improve and increase the amount of fiber in your diet, so, you know, so that you're keeping and maintaining a proper bowel movement. And always, 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 we always go back to antioxidants, Eat Function smoothie recipes, increasing the amount of antioxidants in your daily intake so that you are getting enough antioxidant capacity to kind of combat so that this doesn't worsen, right? So you're going to have some shrinkage in testicles. You may have shrinkage in your erections because of this, but if you're having erectile shrinkage, one of the best things too is to get yourself a decent pump. You know, and one of the questions coming up, and I might as well just go into it now, is, Dr. Rachael, I've had some shrinkage. What do you recommend? What type of pump? Listen, I will be the first to tell you I have seen success with all types of pumps. When I first started advocating for pumps, this is the pump I would give my gents. This one works really well. I've had no trouble with it. It's just a basic pump. It's electric. Yeah, you know, you have a little donut. The only problem is you do get puffalump. So, you know, you do get a little puffy part at the base of your penis that's puffy. But it goes down and it can go away. I had created for some of my guys like a little guard that would help help decrease the risk of the puffalump. And then of course there's the Vaxaid. It's the premium. It's but if you're in another country, you don't have access to water like that, you don't want to spend this much money on one, then this will do too. Now, the great thing about the Vaxaid or a hydro pump or any pump that's actually using water is that we're using water as part of the rehabilitation process. That's why with hydro pumps, we see more plumpage, more girth developing when you're using a little bit of water in there. Now, it is a holiday weekend, and Vaxaid, if you use the links below to go to their site, they're actually offering 30% off on most of the products, and then 25% off for Cyber Monday. So this would be a good time to invest in your hydro pump. But if you're experiencing shrinkage because you have a varicocele or because of any other reason, get yourself a decent pump. And when I come back tomorrow and talk about the complete stiffness training, it actually gives you the pumping protocols to use to stiffen up and to plump up. So this is I say it over and over again. Yes, you can get the premium pump, but you don't have to. But if you're having issues and you get a pump, any pump will do. All right? It's all kind of about comfort. I feel like the hydro pumps are more comfortable. I get less guys complaining. I have more adherence to the protocols. Before, when I was using the other pump, guys would, make a bunch of excuses. Well, doc, I haven't really gotten to it yet, so on and so forth.